Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, welcome to Shake, Rattle, and Troll this morning. Hope everybody's having a great day. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. In-house with us, as always, the new president of the Arizona Deer Association, known as Special K.
Good morning, Don.
With due reverence, Mr. President, good morning.
You know, in this country, that's sometimes a little bit of like, are you hurting me or what?
We'll take that as a shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And special guest, we have a youth champion from the TBF side of life, Taj White. Good morning, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you for bringing your dad, Murray White, down.
Yep.
Don, good morning. How are you?
Murray, good to see you, man. What's happening on the waterways in your world?
Oh, man, it's just night fishing. I can't stand it.
Yeah, dog days of summer.
It's killing me. I want to get back out when I can see.
Well, Murray's one of the best jig fishermen Arizona has to offer, man. I've seen it up close and personal right in front of my boat during competition.
Yeah, I think that was, about a 6-pounder?
Bartlett.
Bartlett, 6-pounder, unheard of fish, and I think
that fish shouldn't have been where it was.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was pitch in, and it's like, hold on.
Yeah, well, that's what you do, and you're certainly a master at it.
Well, thank you, sir.
As we go through today's ordeal, we're going to do roll call. As always, we have 7 soldiers to honor this morning on roll call. We will be talking to Robert Montgomery. You will know Robert with his columns in the Bass Times magazine out of the BASS camp. He has a new book, Why We Fish. And I've been pondering that question since I got the notification that the new book was out.
Well, I'm going to have to get one of those books.
I mean, just think about it.
Well, I mean, really, how hard can it be? Why do we fish? I know why I fish.
I'll tell you what, there's a multitude of reasons.
Well, yeah, there is, of course.
And this morning coming down, I'm thinking, why do I fish? Why do I fish? I've always fished.
I have too.
I mean, when I was a little kid, that's what we did. Grandpa, off you go.
Exactly.
Where we going? Fishing.
Now, look at this guy right here.
Point in case.
Right, exactly.
How old are you?
12.
Nice.
By the way, he's giving Jimmy Unmocked a run for the Fabio.
I'll tell you what, this guy's got the Fabio look going on.
Oh, yeah.
We need to send Mr. President, Mr. Unmock, President Unmock.
President Unmocked.
That's an oxymoron.
It
has to be.
Unmuck and President?
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's recently retired, and God bless him for that, but he's kind of revolting.
That's an understatement.
About the haircut. We're not getting a haircut. We're not shaving.
Hey, mountain men are cool.
Mountain men out of New River. There we go.
I think two places come to mind: New River and Black Canyon City. When you move there, don't you have to?
You adapt.
Join the militia.
I think he has.
Okay. Yeah. And then the 8 o'clock hour, we'll be talking to Noreen Clow. You will. Be familiar with Noreen. She has been the BASS National Conservation Director for, seems like eons, but she's throwing in the towel, retiring. As far as I know, her first stop after retirement is Africa.
Oh, she's going on a photo safari.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Out of the 47 national CD or state CDs that BASS has, she was honored with a new pair of Zeiss binoculars.
10x42s, probably.
I don't know what they were, but we all pitched in, and she was left speechless. And I don't know whether Jim Guggenauer has made it back to Arizona or not. We'll try that out. If not, we'll give you a little bit of an update, and then. As we go through, if time allows, we'll talk to our go-to guy, Rick, over at H&M Landing. I will tell you, Friday's dock count was staggering. The day-and-a-half boats caught 225 bluefin, 252 yellowtail, 22 Dorado, and the yellowfin wren.
Nice.
One yellowfin. So that's, as we look at the fish counts in the species, the albacore been in, gone, and we've posted some stuff on the Shake, Rattle, and Troll website on pelagic species. There's some stuff in there about the bluefin that you might find interesting, the yellowfin, and I think by the end of the day there'll be some stuff up on general tuna notes.
Are you still threatening to take us out there?
Yeah. Next week's pretty clear. We've got to get through the Pumpkin Center Roundtable 2 meeting. After that, the decks are clear.
You're going to have to wait till we get back from Louisiana, man.
Louisiana?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Us.
Nice.
National champions, baby.
Have you been schooled on snakes?
You better
Gators and snakes?
Gators
we need to have
snakes.
a talk. And the best advice I can give you is keep your head down, fish hard. Don't get out of the boat. Don't go in the water.
And watch above you.
Yeah.
Those snakes come out of trees.
We'll have a
down there.
discussion about
Jump
that.
at you.
They do.
Anyway, that fish ratio was 3.56 fish per stick.
Wow.
On the one-day boats, they had 9 boats out, 234 anglers. They averaged 2.35 fish per stick, made up of 214 bluefins, 337 yellowtails, 7 dorado, 1 opa, and somebody stuck a marlin and released it. So that's pretty interesting.
This is on the
Sweet.
one day?
Yeah,
One-day
that's
boats.
on a one day, yeah. The marlin are migratory. Everything that we catch over there, except for the home guard stuff, the barracuda, all the rock bottom fish, calico bass, sand bass, halibut, they're all pretty stable. But the bluefin, historically what happens real quick is that about the third week of May, the yellowtail come in. They're followed historically by the albacore. Now, the albacore came in this year, but they made a left-hand turn and
Took off.
Off they went. Yeah, they follow current. They ended up in Oregon, which is a bad place to fish out of. The water's just terribly rough up there. We don't think anything about running 100, 120 miles in a day.
Right.
30-mile trip for those boys is a long ride.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just bumpy.
Back up.
So then we see the bluefin come in after them, the yellowfin come in after them, the big eye come in, and somewhere in between the yellowfin and the big eye, the skipjacks come in, and we start seeing skipjacks. You better get your butt over there and go fishing because it's about over.
Oh.
So they're just a whole procession of fish coming around, and once they leave the U.S. coast,
Once the skippers are here, the pony ride's over?
yeah,
Something like that,
pretty
yeah.
much, and then the bluefin make a fatal mistake and they head for Tokyo.
Sushi, baby. Sushi.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's all I want. I want sushi.
Yummy.
Yeah.
You
Knew
like
her in
sushi?
high school.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
He's
that's
good
what's
kid.
going on. The Saturday count yesterday, they had 1.77 fish on the day and a half and 1.1 fish on the one-day boat. So, and I can only attribute that to the lake conditions that we see. You've been out there, you know what it is. The ocean's just a big lake.
Yeah, it is.
And there was a squall off of about 90 miles off of Ensenada yesterday, and it's moved up the coast offshore of San Diego. So the barometric pressure drops, it clouds up, starts to rain. Things change. The fish put their noses down, and,
This isn't going to be one of those 4-hour cruises, is it?
It could be.
3-hour
Was
cruise.
it 3? I don't remember. It's been a long time.
All the days, somewhere between 900 and 1,000 days tuna fishing, I've only had one boat ride. We always seem to eke out something. Now, whether I catch one or not is beside the point, but, somebody on the boat's going to catch something. But
Hey, worst case scenario, you can always go to the Channel Islands and catch some little blues.
yeah, something. Yeah. So anyway, it looks like on the 3/4 day boats, the Malahini's still whacking them pretty good. So that's always a good bet. They had 2 3/4 day boats out, 83 anglers, 24 yellowtail, 31, and the rest of these are bottom fish, 31 sculpin, 40 rockfish, and 5 barracuda up eating iron. So it's time. If you're thinking about going fishing, let's get it done. So, young man, tell me about your championship. How'd you get there?
Our tournament was at Lake Pleasant. What was the date?
Yeah, it was back in May.
Yeah, May something, and me and my partner headed out went out to Goose Bay first thing in the morning, caught some stripers, only pulled one bass, and just moved around a lot and didn't catch my second fish until about noon. And then my partner, he had a couple bedfish to go, and we just stuck them, called it.
Nice.
Yep.
So the championship, when do you head out for Louisiana?
We head out Tuesday.
We're leaving Tuesday night.
Flying or riding?
Taking the boat.
Nice. Nice.
That's a long tow.
And that's why we're leaving at night.
Yeah, you need to get across to Arizona and Texas.
Absolutely.
You ain't going to do that.
And I don't care where you are in Texas. It takes you 8 hours to hit the border.
Either way.
Yeah, it's brutal. So, what city are you going to? Where are you headquartered?
Shreveport.
We're going to
Louisiana.
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Nice. You know, I was talking to a fellow up at Lookout Mountain Friday from Louisiana. Out of all the traveling that I've done and all the places I've fished, you know, and they're all interesting, the people in Shreveport are just awesome. You will find a community. I'll put it this way: if you don't hunt or fish, you don't need to live in Shreveport.
No, it's they're very Louisiana's a sportsman's paradise. Period.
Yeah.
It's hunting, fishing, hunting.
Truly is.
Then you've got the crawdad fishermen. You got the noodlers. We're not going to get that deep into it. I hope. I really don't want to.
Noodling in Louisiana is a bad thing. There's stuff in the,
You don't want to go down to those bottoms.
I got a problem using body parts for bait.
I do too. I do too.
That's 75-pound loggerhead turtles, pissed off beavers and snakes, gators.
It's the other items that I'm worried about. If you hook onto a big snapping turtle, look out.
Game's over.
Losing a finger. Oh, there we go.
I've seen those guys snap through a mop handle.
Yep.
Boom. Game over.
Absolutely.
All right, hey, we're going to stand down and thank some of our sponsors. I'm Don McDowell here with
Taj White.
Murray White.
JK.
Yeah, and Jennifer's in there doing a great job today. Nice shirt, Jen. All righty, we'll be back. All righty, we're back. At the beginning of the show, we talked about Robert Montgomery, and I want to introduce Robert Montgomery as probably one of the most knowledgeable people in the fishing industry, being a senior writer for BASS, an award-winning author, and he has come up with a book that asks the age-old question, why we fish. And quite frankly, I've been pondering that question since I got the notification of the book, and I've come up with a long list of things, but I want to welcome Robert. Robert, good morning. Thanks for playing along with us today.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so you're out of downtown Missouri. What's the weather like? What kind of atmospheric conditions are you experiencing today?
Well, we have one nice day today, then we're supposed to have thunderstorms the next 4 days. It's been an incredibly cool summer after an awfully hot and dry one last year.
Well, one thing I've learned about Missouri, if you don't like the weather, wait about 4 hours and it'll do something different.
It'll change.
Yeah. Well, Robert, I want to get right to the meat of the matter here. Your book has just really sparked an awful lot of thought ponderance, at least in my mind and some of the other guys that I've sent your email to. What's the motive behind the book?
Well, I got hooked on fishing when I was a Cub Scout and went to a farm pond, and I didn't catch a fish, but the guy next to me did, and that hooked me. And for years, I really didn't think about it. I knew I wanted to catch fish, and as I got a little older, it started being important to me for other reasons, but I really didn't think about it. But it's been working in the fishing industry and meeting so many different people. That's what started me thinking about it. For example, I met a friend, Eli Delaney, whose son has autism, and he was telling me how it's so great for his kid to be out in the water with him, how he just sort of opens up when he does that. And I corresponded with some soldiers in Iraq who were telling me about how fishing made them feel closer to home when they read Bassmaster, and I helped arrange to get some fishing tackle sent over to them. And a biologist friend in Oklahoma, Gene Gilliland, told me about helping kids with chronic illnesses and how this little girl just screamed with joy when she rode in the bass boat. So I started thinking about all that, And then I also came across a quote from Thoreau that said, many people go fishing all their lives without knowing it's not the fish that they're after. And so that started me thinking, and I wrote about 40 essays about that based on my own experiences, and I asked 10 other people to contribute. So I've got a diverse array, and Ross Gordon at Mystery Tackle Box asked his followers on Facebook, and I've written an essay that's got about 40 different opinions in there. So there's a lot of universality about why we go fishing. We just don't stop to think about it.
That's true, and I have been thinking about it, and I've had the privilege in my life to fish back and forth across the country for a number of years. And one of the things I noticed about fishing, I don't care who you are, your race, color, creed, even what language you speak, fishing is a universal language. And it just, once you start talking fishing, whatever political barriers or what may be in front of you, it just dissipates, and pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's really magical, and I think we would probably all be a lot better off if our elected representatives spent a little more time fishing.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, especially in Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
Some good places to fish over there. Where is your book available to us?
Well, it's Barnes & Noble is going to carry it. I don't know where they have it in their stores yet, but it's certainly available on Amazon and other online booksellers. And if people want to know more about the book, they can go to the publisher's website, too, which is whywefish.info. That's whywefish.info. But Amazon's got a lot about it on its website as well, and there's already 13 5-star reviews on there, so that's a real positive. I'm blessed in that regard. And it should be available in a lot of places.
Well, getting back, looking at Amazon.com, you can preview the book, and thank you for doing that. But back in the back, I don't know what page it is, you ask a question, do you need a reason? And then right below that goes right to grandfather. And I think for so many of us, that's where the initial catalyst began, either with grandfather or with dad. And, this morning I read most of this yesterday, and this morning I'm in the truck driving to the studio, and I'm going, man, why do I fish? And I can't remember a time in my life when I didn't fish. And we have a 12-year-old young man in here, Taj White, is a TBF champion. And can you remember a time in your life when you didn't fish?
No, I'm not sure. I pretty much grew up with the fishing rod in my hand.
Well, don't spend a lot of time on it. Just keep fishing.
Don, put it this way. He was in a boat when he was in a car seat.
Nice.
We had him in a car seat driving across the lake in the old rawhide. So it's kind of been second nature to him. Matter of fact, when my wife was pregnant, she slept on the back of a rented bass boat at Alamo Lake while I night fished.
That's commitment.
It's.
I am so sorry, dear.
So he's been, since when he was in a womb, he's been fishing.
Well, there you go. Well, this young man's headed to Shreveport, Louisiana on Tuesday, Robert, for their fish off. So it's going to be pretty interesting to do a follow-up interview when he gets back from Shreveport.
I would suspect that he's not going to get a whole lot of sleep either.
Nah.
I've got an essay called Trip Crowd, and that's what you feel the night before you're going fishing, and you just can't sleep, and you worry about it. And so I know what he's going to be going through.
Out of this whole book, what is your most passionate chapter?
Oh, gee. I sort of think of them as being in two different categories. There's one about the practical aspects. I've got one about my best day on the water, and I've got one about a lot of big fish that have been lost, and, the things that hardcore fishermen would think about. But then I've got a lot of stuff about the spiritual aspect. Keith Stouffer from Recycle Fish has one about faith in fishing, and Dave Precht, Vice President of Communications at Bass, has one about occasions for hope, which I think is just a great phrase, because that sort of says it all right there. That's why we go fishing, because it's an occasion for hope. We always think we always have this hope that we're going to catch something. And a lot of my essays have that element too, so it's really hard to to say just one in particular. One of my favorites is Time Travel, which is about how as adults when we go fishing, it reminds us of all the fishing trips we had when we were younger. And,
absolutely.
That's one of the values. So that's one of my favorites, I think.
Well, being a tournament angler, and Murray, I think you can either back me up or argue with me. One of the things we learn after all of our boot camp is over with is when you first start, it's about win, and then it's racing the other guys. I got to have a 250. I've got to have a 300. I got to have this. I got to have that. But once, and it takes 3 or 4 years to get through that mess, and then you start getting into the zone. You talk to any of your top pros, the Elite 50 guys. Ike Nelly's one. Aaron Martin's in a zone all by himself all the time. And I'm not sure what time zone that is, but
it's the fish zone.
You get into the zone. It's you against yourself, trying to get 5 bites. You become one with nature. You can feel the barometric drops and just the whole nature aspect.
So far, everything you said is completely true. It did take me a while.
It does.
It literally took me 2 days to recover from a tournament if I didn't do well because I was so hard on myself.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's got to the point now where I go out, I fish against the fish. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, Robert, we've got to thank some of our sponsors. Would you mind standing by and joining us after we come back from break?
I'll be happy to.
All righty. More with Robert Montgomery, award-winning author on Why We Fish.
JK.
Todd White.
Murray White.
And I'm Don McDowell.
I'm playing with fire. The preacher man says it's the end of time, and the Mississippi River, she's a going dry.
All right, we're back visiting with award-winning author Robert Montgomery. Robert, a couple of thoughts. You've got some really fascinating chapters in here, and looking at chapter 24, contradictory core beliefs. Give us your thoughts on that.
Well, one of the first things I ran into as a senior writer for Bassmaster was a lot of bass fishermen don't like the core, and what I started finding out, I wrote a lot about water issues and water levels, and what I found out is I really don't think the Corps has a grudge against fishermen, and I really don't think that the guys on the ground are out to show you who's in charge. I think there's some really good folks, especially on the ground in the Corps. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some people who are not friends of fishermen there or who don't do bad things, but the Corps has a lot to consider when it's determining water levels, and fishermen just don't understand what's going on. And I went into that a little bit. The manager down at Table Rock Lake, they had record high water up there a few years ago, and I was there. I mean, it was almost over the dam. And I talked to him about all the things they have to consider. It's not just that lake. It's all the impoundments downstream. It's all the tributaries, and it's not an easy job. So what I tried to do in this essay is to show fishermen that the Corps isn't really the bad guy that a lot of us think he is.
Well, the reason I asked is it's interesting that's in that book. Currently out here, we've got a battle with the Corps on Alamo Lake. They're talking about draining the lake, and it's taken 8 or 9 years for it to get to where it is. As you know, we're about 12 years into a 5-year drought at this point in time, and if they drain that lake, we're going to lose it. And I don't think it'll come back in my lifetime.
Why are they going to do that?
Reportedly, they're behind in their. This is an earthen dam structure, and they need to drain it to work on the gates and discharge chutes.
Yeah, I know that's happening in places across the country. Wolf Creek over in Tennessee, I think it is too. So that's too bad.
Well, as you and I were talking, we've got so many controversial battles out here, like any place else. The conservationists are working with the Game and Fish Department, and we're seeing a little bit of a turnaround here. The anglers are starting to get off the couch and quit their whining, and well, I don't know if they're ever going to quit their whining. Not that they're outspoken by any means.
They're bass fishermen. They'll never stop whining.
Yeah, but they're going to meetings, so that's a good thing. Trying to put some of this stuff to rest, or at least understand the process.
Don, speaking of bass fishermen and fishing tournaments, there's an essay in there too I wanted to mention. It's called The Bass Factor, and I've been privileged to be affiliated with Bass for, too many years for me to say. But,
Chapter 32, yes.
It's a wonderful organization, and in that one I explain how bass has been responsible for so many things in fishing, things that might not even think about. Of course, we all know about race, caught, and catch and release, but there are just so many other aspects, and a lot of those are related to conservation. And so I think a lot of bass fishermen would learn a lot and enjoy reading The Bass Factor.
Well, absolutely. And since you brought that up, what are your thoughts on Noreen Clow and her contributions to BASS?
I think she's been wonderful. I really hate to see her go. I've been around for all our conservation directors, and they've all been good, but she's certainly been one of the best. Her strengths have been, I think, motivating our state conservation directors and keeping them informed and making them feel like they're important, which they are, of course. But when you're dealing with a national organization, you sometimes can feel lost. But Noreen's done a really good job of morale and education, and I really hate to see her go.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to her at the 8 o'clock hour and wishing her well. And, BASS is really one of the most dominant factors in conservation. And, our job here with JK and I sit on a number of conservation group boards. He's currently the new president of the Arizona Deer Association. We sit on the Arizona Sportsman for Wildlife Conservation Group and the Wildlife Conservation Council, and some other issues. And, one of the things we're trying to do is educate the folks on the anti or green side. They, just as late as yesterday, were reported as being conservationists, and they're not.
No, they're what we call enviro-litigants rather than conservation.
Well, that's true.
Big difference.
And there's not one of those guys that are spending any time putting their boots on the ground or contributing, because the fact of the matter is conservation is a byproduct of recreating.
And use. I mean,
exactly.
you have to have that.
That's where our conservation dollars come from. And I think BASS has just done such an outstanding job to, we've got 9,700 bass members here. And
that's impressive.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, but trying to get those guys engaged. And it's guys like Robert doing his column and his writings that are help educating the public.
There's always missionary work, Robert.
Well, I got a couple of essays that fit right in this discussion too, guys. One of them is "I am not an environmentalist," and the other one is "I am a steward." And
yes,
then
exactly.
I also have one about the threat that the environmental preservationists are posing to fishing, primarily through closing off of access and phony issues. So
nice.
It's not all feel-good stuff in there. Most of it is. A lot of it is, but I also wanted to let fishermen know about the threats that they're facing right now.
Appreciate that, because there are a lot of threats, but you put it best, and that's the preservationists. They are the ones who are saying lock everything in time, and unfortunately nature is not a static situation. It evolves, it changes, it rotates. And, the saying is that utility fosters use, which means that there's opportunities out there for people to do things, but you have to continually work at it, and they want us to be excluded from it, and that's a huge problem.
Yeah, they think we exist apart from nature. That's two words.
Exactly.
Apart.
Right.
Whereas
exactly.
we believe we're a part of nature, which we are.
Thank you.
In those essays that you're talking about, are those contained within your book?
Yes, they are. Yep.
All right, we need to get that posted up on the website.
Yeah, that's going in.
Partially or in part.
It's going on my bookshelf as well. Sorry, on my nightstand till it's done.
Well, what's interesting is Robert's book. Last week or so, we had a gentleman, Jim Collier, wrote the Mule Deer Manifesto.
Blood in the Tracks.
Yeah, Blood in the Tracks. And there's such a cross correlation between Robert's book and Jim's book, especially on the, I'm going to call it the spiritual aspect, moving one with nature, and just Understand.
It's either hook or bullet, but you still have the same feeling, and that is that when you're out there in pursuit, you're excluding all of the issues of everyday life, and you are participating in a process, and that process is what we are inherently born from. We are all part of nature, and that's the part that we're trying to do. And too many of society now are excluded from that process. Their concept of food is something they get from Fry's or Safeway, and it's poly-wrapped, and they don't have to worry about anything.
Well, I think these wolf guys on the pro side, they need to go camping in Yellowstone Park.
I wish they would.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Another essay, guys, that I have is from Dr. Bruce Condello, and it's about that too. It's about how genetically we're wired. Some of us for hunting and gathering, and if we don't fulfill that, it could lead to a life of frustration. It's a really interesting take. It's from a scientific point of view.
Awesome.
So, well,
I'm going to read it.
Absolutely. On that note, I've got two choices. I either take the bass boat out on Wednesday, or I go see the therapist on Thursday.
He sees the therapist too often.
I've got the same choice too, and honestly, I'm taking the first one because that is better therapy for me. It's better therapy for the fish. It's
better therapy for the family.
Not only that, it's cheaper,
and you can eat your mistakes.
If you could eat the white bass, you could eat the striper.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, just let the little green ones go.
All right, Robert, we're going to wish you well, and we would like to have you back on a more regular basis and talk about some of the other stuff you do. Your email campaign is certainly really enlightening as to what's going on across the country, and doing an outstanding job in the Bass Times.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it was really enjoyable to be with you this morning.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, thanks
Robert
for coming,
Montgomery,
Robert.
Folks, why we fish? Check it out. You can get them on Amazon.com, and if you don't have a subscription of the Bass Times, you can get that with your subscription and membership at BASS.
Hey, Robert, real quick before you go, how can I get a signed copy for my boy here?
I'll be happy to send you one. I've got a few extras. If you'll just send me an email with your mailing address, and I'll take care of it.
That I will do.
Robert, thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
All righty, we're going to get this thing wrapped up, flip into a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with the youth champ and his escapades, and then we're going to roll into roll call. Noreen Clow at the top of the hour. I'm Don McDowell with
Murray White.
George Strait.
Daddy White. Yeah. We'll be back. All righty, we're back, headed to downtown Shreveport, Louisiana with the Ute Champ. All right, so what's your strategy going into the fish-off?
There's a lot of grass there. We're having a couple guides take me out to show us the hot spots and
little pre-fish.
Try to get it figured out. We're getting some pre-fish in before it goes off limits. So
yeah.
But my go-to baits are probably going to have to be punching mats, flipping mats, throwing frogs in the morning on the grass, and then just throwing square bills up on the cypress trees. And
help me out. JK's eyes were starting to glass over. About
that happened about an hour ago.
Punching mats.
What are you talking about, punching mats? I'll punch you. You're next to me. My arms are... No, they're not as long as yours.
No. How you punch a mat, Taj?
It's a big glop or weeds or...
You got it. It's a glob, all right.
But how do you punch them?
You just toss it up about maybe...
About 10 foot up.
You use an ounce and a half? What are you using?
Ounce
and a half tungsten.
Oh, okay. You're dropping it through.
Yeah. We're throwing it up in the air and punching it through, getting it to the bottom. And when you get bit...
Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah.
There are those of us who are illiterate in this area, and we do need the explanation.
Murray, he's still out trying to catch a 30-inch buck with a DD-22.
Right.
Yeah. Catch and release.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
No,
anything I catch ain't being released.
JK, punching mats, sometimes you're bringing in a clump of weeds that's twice the size of the fish.
Yeah.
That was I mean, I remember when there was a particular lake that I grew up bass fishing on, and I was always running lures. My forte, the only thing I know how to do is crank baits. I'm a reefer. I mean, I'm just hauling all the time.
He does.
Cast
Chuck
and go,
and
cast
wine,
and go.
chuck
Yeah.
and wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
So
Type
whenever
A
I got
modified.
into that thick crap, I didn't know what to do. And there was an awful lot, as you get towards the edges, there was always the slime buildup and this,
Right.
the thick stuff. I'd call it whatever I wanted to, but I never knew how to get through that or how to fish it.
Now you do.
See? Punch a mat.
It took you this long to learn.
Okay,
But hey,
now,
at least
now,
you learned
Taj,
something.
let me ask you this: how's your topwater skills?
My topwater skills are picking up.
They're good because of what?
Boing lures.
Yeah, one of his sponsors, Boing Lures, man. He's just,
Really?
These things are awesome.
Tearing them up everywhere because it makes a boing sound, a whole different sound.
Boing.
Yeah,
Boing,
exactly.
boing,
It's
boing,
got a
boing,
it's got a
boing,
boing. It actually does have a little reverberatory sound.
Really?
It's they're awesome baits.
We're gonna have to go out in the parking lot and swap baits.
Yeah.
Boing.
Well, I mean, Taj, didn't you catch one of your fish that you won state with? Wasn't that on a Boing topwater? Yeah. So,
Hey, what's the profile?
honestly, it's just like it's a walking bait is what it is. They've just come out with the new G2 popper. It's very similar profile. It's just got the popping head to it.
You can pop it and walk it.
You can pop it, walk it. But these.
You keeping up, JK?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
These Boings are
Hang
just incredible. They're all hand painted by a custom painter and Dwayne Beatty from Baitworks.
Really?
Everything's handmade, 100% made in America. So it's the perfect bait.
Okay. Well, how about your frogs? You got any frogs with you?
Got any mice? You might want to take some mice with you.
I'm actually thinking about getting a few rats so we can throw those too.
Yeah. Well, I had
Patrick,
my operations manager, Mac Rat over here, up at ICAST. 400,000 square feet of fishing stuff. And he comes running up going, Don. I go, what? He goes, there's a mouse. I go, what? He goes, it's a mouse. It's a mouse with hooks on it. It's got a tail. I'm going,
nice.
And?
Yeah, well, hey, the rat, buddy of mine, Manny Chi, he's throwing big rats for big bass right now, and it's working, believe it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't think of it, but, these opportunistic feeders, that thing falls off a tree and swimming back to the bank. Big fish sees it. Good.
Last night I was watching Zeb Hogan, a professor out of Nevada, doing the Monster Fish series. And they were up in Alaska on a tributary river looking for king salmons, but they got into an area that was infested with invasive species, northern pike, and they were doing a little autopsy on these guys, and there was mouse after mouse after mouse.
Northern pike will eat anything that moves. Baby ducks.
Yeah,
yep.
Just absolutely, yeah.
We've been fishing at Desert Harbor one morning, and there was a mother duck with 8 little ducklings swimming. And a buddy of mine and I were fishing in a canoe. We heard a splash. We turned around. We heard all the little ducklings squeaking, the mother duck quacking. Counted the ducklings. There were only 7.
Yeah.
So, they're eating.
There's a nursery rhyme about 10 little Indian boys, and
something
there
like
were
that.
9. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Does happen.
So,
yeah, if you spend time on the water, you'll see that happen. Aside from that, what do you have any fears going into this, or are you overly confident at this point?
No, not really. Probably my biggest fear would probably have to be just taking every cast, pulling up weeds and stuff, and all the grass. And
well, that's only because you're fishing hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not getting in the snags, you're not bringing in the stuff, you're not in the right place.
yeah, you don't have your head in it.
So.
That's cool. So what kind of a draw system do they have?
I'm not real sure how that's going to work out. We do have a meeting next Thursday. His tournament's not till the 16th and 17th. So we're going up a week ahead of time,
Nice.
Get some pre-fish in, and then believe it or not, we've got 3 days of downtime. We're going to run into Fork in Texas and down at Toledo Bend, fish a couple days. So
wow,
we're gonna enjoy all of the East Texas, West Louisiana has to offer. We'll be there in conjunction with the Forest Wood Cup.
Sure.
They're fishing on the Red River, so we're gonna get to experience the whole
That's
Forest
a hell
Wood
of a place
Cup.
to fish, man.
It is. I wish we could fish it. He's gonna be fishing a little lake just west of that called Cotto. And it's full of cypress trees, grass mats as far as the eye can see.
Yeah. They call that Booger Woods.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Bayous. We're going to be fishing bayous, and so he's going to have a blast. He's pretty excited about it. So,
do they give him any indoctrination into indigenous wildlife before they go?
I'm not sure what they're going to do. We're going to have to see what happens at the meeting. So, he already knows there's alligators. He already knows there's snakes.
Yeah.
I think we went and spent $100 on bug repellent the other night at Walmart.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Chemical treatments for this.
Right. So it's, we're going to have fun. My wife's excited, so.
Well, that's a good thing. Just keep in touch with us while you're there. Maybe you can give us a call.
A live update.
Absolutely.
on
I'll give you a call next Sunday.
We're going to ramp up for roll call. We'll follow up with the whites here. And as we went through our roll call last week, we had a soldier from Cornville, Arizona, but at the top of the DOD list this week, Army Sergeant Stephen M. Smith, Army First Lieutenant Joe M. Russell, Army Specialist Rob L. Nichols, all died in Afghanistan of wounds caused by an improvised explosive device. The Specialist Rob Nichols was 24 years old out of Colorado Springs. Army Sergeant Stephen Smith, 24 years old out of Glenville, Georgia. And all of these guys were part of the 3rd Battalion, 15th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, and all out of Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Army Specialist Karen E. Nuev died July 27, 2013, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. She was 29 of Newport News, Virginia, assigned to the 10th Transportation Battalion, 7th Sustainment Brigade, Joint Base Langley, Eustis, Virginia. She died in Ghazni province out of Afghanistan of wounds caused by an improvised explosive device and small arms fire. Army Sergeant Eric T. Lawson died July 27th as well. He was 30 years old of Stockbridge, Georgia, assigned to the 10th Transportation Battalion, 7th Sustainment Brigade, Joint Base Langley, Eustis, Virginia. Again, Ghazni province, Afghanistan, of wounds caused by an improvised explosive device and small arms fire.
Army Sergeant Stephen M. New died July 28th serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. He was 29 of Bartlett, Tennessee, assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 20th Special Forces Group Airborne from the Mississippi National Guard, Jackson, Mississippi. He died the 28th in Bagram, Afghanistan, of wounds caused by small arms fire. Also, we had Army Specialist Nicholas B. Burley, died July 30th during Operation Enduring Freedom. He was 22 of Red Bluff, California, assigned to the 6th Squadron, 8th Cavalry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team from Fort Stewart, Georgia. And he was he died from injuries caused by indirect fire.
That's the price of freedom this week, folks. Our hearts and prayers go out to the families, all the folks these guys left behind, their fathers, brothers, cousins, uncles, and you know the drill. Freedom's got a price. This is it.
It's time for Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. We're having some fun, learning some stuff today. We've got the president of the Arizona Deer Association, known as Special K, or Mr. President.
Mr.
Good
President,
morning.
Thank you.
We have the TBF Youth Champion, Taj White, and he was good enough to bring Murray White down.
Yeah, hey, someone's got to teach his dad how to fish, right?
Yeah, boy, about time. And we've talked to Robert Montgomery, acclaimed author on a pondering subject, Why We Fish.
Oh, we're going to have a conversation off air.
I'm telling you, I had a conversation with myself last night. Why do I fish? And I have a long list. It's not necessarily distinguished, but I can explain myself. But we mentioned at the top of the hour we were going to visit with a mentor, a friend, a colleague, Noreen Clow, National CD Conservation Director from BASS. Now, Noreen has chosen to throw in the towel, and she's been doing this for about 36 years in natural resource conservation. And absolutely my pleasure and honor to welcome Noreen to the show. Good morning.
Hey, Don. Good morning.
I got to ask you, how are you? How do you feel?
Well, I packed up all my files and headed to Birmingham last week, and when I headed back home after turning everything into Bass LLC, I got to say it was kind of bittersweet. I made the decision in January that it was going to be this year that I was going to retire, but when it stares you in the face, it's like, oh, goodness. But I'm sure, I'm sure I've left it, as you know, in capable hands of 47 state Bass Nation conservation directors until my replacement is on board.
Well, Noreen, what I found being one of those 47, we need your constant direction and sometimes a boot to keep going the right direction.
He really does, Noreen.
Absolutely.
I haven't used much booting, and in Don's case, sometimes it was reins more than booting. But I've always said I would rather have people that I didn't have to jumpstart every day. I'd rather have those that I'd have to say, whoa, now wait a minute, let's think about that.
Yeah.
And try to get them kick-started and off and going. And Don certainly has been at the forefront of doing the things that need to be done for bass, not just there in Arizona.
Well, Noreen, you're sorely going to be lost, and I think those sentiments were put forth on our last conference call. And what are your plans? And I think probably the biggest thing is, being a conservation director, as you know, is sometimes a thankless job. Our battles are many, our wins are few, but the ones we do win are pretty sweet. How are you going to plug the hole or the void that's going to leave?
Well, I don't think I'm going to leave that, a hole that can't be filled. I've certainly been dedicated to fisheries and aquatic resource conservation over the decades, and especially have enjoyed my tenure at Bass. But in that time I've been there since 2004 and before when I worked with Bass when I was with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, I've met a wonderful array of professional fisheries folks, both in the industry and in the states and in the federal government. And there are lots of good people out there, lots of good people watching after the resources. And I have every reason to believe that Bass is going to choose someone that once my shoes are fitted on those feet, you're not even going to miss a stride. I think, the talent pool is a good pool, and I'm excited. I think maybe perhaps the end of this month we might have a candidate that we can announce, hopefully.
Really? Is that going to be put out for a vote from the other CDs, or is this going to be an internal sole decision?
I don't think the CDs will be necessarily asked for their opinions, but let me just say that I have been asked for mine, and in doing so, you can feel pretty comfortable that I've had every one of you in mind as to the need to have someone who can relate to the conservation directors as well as to the industry, as well as to our professional tournament folks, you know, and that's a hard ticket to fill, so it's taken us a while, but I think you guys are, you know, I think it's going to work out well.
What are your personal plans? I know you and I talked about a little safari to Africa. When is that going to kick in?
That's not going to kick in until 2014. This year, I'm going to Europe for the month of September. Bass has been very generous with me and giving me, when we're between tournament season and it's a downtime for bass, I usually take 3 or 4 weeks off. And this year I had already planned to take the month of September and go to Europe. So that's what I'm going to do in the near term. In the long term, I'd like to actually do some fishing. And like you, Don, I like saltwater as well as freshwater. So I'm hoping I can, you know, go back and best my Crocodile Bay rooster fishing from 50 pounds, move it up a little more. I moved it from 35 to 50, so maybe I can move it to 55. That's very optimistic, and perhaps even do a better sale than I did. I've got about 135-pound sale.
Nice.
So I want to do some of that, and I want to do some bass fishing. I have, you know, I don't own a bass boat, believe it or not, but I'm going to probably try to join a bass club.
Wow. There's another idea.
There we go.
Yeah, you got to think about that for a minute.
Somebody's going to get a new conservation director.
Boy, oh, boy.
Shame on those guys.
No. They're going to get a novice bass angler that nobody wants in their boat.
Come on now.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Oh, yeah. Knowing Noreen like I do, I'll tell you what, you know, I'd hate to have to compete against her in the back of the boat.
I just don't see this woman as a co-angler.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's good stuff. Out of all of your accomplishments, and I know there are many, what thought do you have is probably the most major accomplishment that you've had with your tenure at Bass?
I think it's been these last almost 3 years, seeing the Bass Nation conservation directors really get to know each other, to coalesce, and to step up to the plate through Keep America Fishing, through Robert Montgomery's voice, through my voice, and take on, in a concerted effort, the battles out there. I think that the Bass Nation Conservation Director Network is stronger than it's ever been.
Well, we're seeing a lot of movement with your retirement, Mark Burns stepping down in Washington, and I think that's personally I look at that as a major hit. He's done such a great job in Washington. You know, he's fighting the same fight we're fighting down here currently on aquatic invasive species, and one of the things we've been
in those Pacific Northwest states, and I'll throw Idaho in there, even though it really is not on the coast. They battle the constant battle of bass being viewed as an invasive species, and that can wear you out. That can wear you out. We lost Chuck Lang, who's been, Lonnie Johnson has been an excellent replacement, but he fought the battle for over a decade there in Oregon, and now Mark, after his battles on ANS and salmonids versus bass up in Washington State, and we have a new conservation director in Idaho. So the Pacific Northwest is a challenge. It's a challenge on a lot of fronts, aquatic nuisance species and the whole concept that bass are bad.
Well, that's one thing, but, you know, we've got so many other invasive species that we're trying to keep out of the waterways. We just were able to get all of the species of snakeheads, of which there are 13, let's say, and LMBV finally put on our list of AIS through director's rule. That finally went into effect July 1st.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a big deal out here. It's just scary what's happening. And anyway, Noreen, I just wanted to thank you so much personally, publicly, for your commitment and your sacrifices. Doing what you do doesn't come without a sacrifice, personal sacrifice of time and personal time away from your home, your family, and getting involved in stuff that is so much bigger than one individual.
Well, thank you. It's been a gift, a pleasure, and there've been some hard times, but I've loved them all.
Noreen, we wish you the best. I want to have you back on a more regular basis just to keep track of what you're doing and how we can help. Anything we can do for you, you let me know.
Absolutely, Don. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Noreen Clow, former national CD for BASS. We are going to miss that woman. I'm Don McDowell with
Murray White.
Taj White.
John Colazar.
I got to get me a haircut like that.
That's an oxymoron.
There
is no haircut.
That is not a mullet.
No,
that is not.
No.
That's
right.
the Fabio look.
Not my house.
Nice. All righty, we're back. All right, let's go to Louisiana. What's your favorite rod and reel line size for punching mats?
Probably want a medium heavy, and my favorite rod and reel.
Yeah, how long's your punching stick?
Which one are you going to use for punching?
7-1.
You're going to use what kind of rod? I know what length it is. Which one are you going to use? You've got it.
Okay, how about the reel?
Probably a Revo S, the second generation.
Nice, good choice.
He's going to use a Revo S, and he's probably going to use my old Kistler flipping stick.
You think?
You think? Yeah.
Murray Kistler over here.
No, actually, I'm not with Kistler anymore. So, moved on to
bigger and better, less expensive things. Yeah.
No, I won't say bigger, but definitely they're good rods.
They are, but I think they had a price point issue out there.
They did. They really did.
They were like Castaway, good rod, but you had to have a bake sale and return all your pop bottles to get one.
Right. No, his punch setup. We've got set up Kistler all day flipping tool with the Revo S, and we're gonna throw.
What size and what type of line are you punching with?
Probably 65-pound braid.
Whoa,
nice.
That's it,
my man.
I can bring in half a lake with 65 pounds.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Not losing anything that way.
What about your top water? Top water is one of my favorite techniques. What kind of setup? Oh yeah, believe it or not.
I believe I've watched you in the boat. I know what you are.
We need to get you a hammer shad to take back there.
Yeah. Now, what's your top water setup, Taj?
For frogs, for their probably 65-pound braid for frogs, and then just use mono on the open spaces.
Well, what's your setup? What's your rod? What's your reel?
6.5 is the length. Rant McGill topwater jerkbait rod with the Canaan, Shimano Canaan. And
what about your frog rod?
Senko toad rod.
Senko toad rod. And what's
with
that?
Is Shimano Canaan.
That's another...
you got it down.
That's another Wright McGill Skeet Reese rod, too, isn't it?
Yep.
I have a feeling that poor Taj, when he goes home at night, before they're going to allow him to have dinner, Mr. Murray's going to be going, what about this? What about that? What's your rod size? How long is it?
There
what are you
will be
gonna
a test.
No, it's...
every morning. I don't think I want that ride out there.
No, he's going to do just fine. He's got everything set up. He just, this one's got the frog on it. Cool. I'm going to use it.
I want to see the one with the rat.
And that'll probably be his frog rod, too.
Will it?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll email you some pictures of these rats. These things are
absolutely.
sweet.
The coppers? Right?
No, the rats that Manny uses.
How many days is your competition?
2 days.
2 days.
Yep.
Have you been checking the weather and see what the precipitation and the runoff into the rivers are? Is the water high or where it's supposed to be?
Yeah, he's pretty much left all the recon to me, and I just kind of relay all the information. Believe it or not, this lake's has a pretty steady water level.
Oh, it's not a man-made then?
It does have a dam, but it's pretty steady. It is fed by a couple bayous, a couple rivers coming in. I've been looking lake levels. Elevation hasn't changed in a month.
Nice.
So, things are going to change too, especially with this, they're expecting triple-digit heat all week.
Ugh.
And then, it's looking like
high double-digit humidity.
Yep.
It's looking like Saturday we're going to start getting thunderstorms in. Sunday, rain all day. Monday, rain all day. So it's going to be wet, some of the pre-fish.
On the draw, do the kids have any say-so in who they boat with?
No, we're going to have a bunch of volunteer boat captains, real similar to what we do with the Phoenix Junior Bassmasters. He's going to be paired with a kid in the older age group, which is 15 to 18. He's in the 11 to 14. I don't know how they're going to do it and from which state he'll be fishing with. But what he does, day one, he gets to compete against everybody in his age group in the West.
Nice.
Yeah. Move on from there. You top finisher in the West or Southwest, whichever divisions they have it. He moves on to day two, and then he's just fishing against the top 6 or 7 from whoever won the other divisions.
Now, okay, so like if his is in the Southwest, then you'd be fishing against people from New Mexico, Nevada, Utah,
Colorado, Utah.
Okay.
And if they do the
Southern Cal.
Right. So, no, California, the whole state of California is part of the Southwest Division. If they do the Super West, which they may, which will include Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming.
That would give us a little leg up if it's from those Northwest states.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And then on day two, on Saturday, they actually get to walk across the Forest Wood Cup stage.
Oh, cool.
They get everything,
That's big time stuff.
It is. They drive through and, get up on stage with the fish. I wish they would have had that when I was a kid.
He's going to be just like the Geico commercial. Woohoo! Guess what day it is?
Yeah. He's going to pull an Ike and Ellie up on stage. I can see it.
Yeah. Just do me a favor. Don't be breakdancing.
Yeah, no breakdancing.
No.
Please.
No.
That would ruin the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried that, but I really hurt myself.
If you tried that now, Don, you'd be in traction for 3 weeks. Give me a break.
Yeah. Well, what can we do for you? Is there anything we can do for you to help you get ready to go?
No, not really, because we pretty much have everything all ready to go. And
you got it packed pretty tight, huh?
Yeah.
I believe that. You've had a blessing to have your parents be who they are.
Yeah.
And what you're about to go through, you will take to your grave, my young man.
Yep.
Nice job, Murray.
No problem.
There's a serious cost factor involved in this, too, by the way.
You know what?
Taj.
I would rather have him do this than sit and play video games all day, sit and just do other things that, kids shouldn't be doing. This is probably the best thing he's ever done, best thing he's ever going to do. As long as he can keep in with the outdoors, I have no complaints.
My boys, when they were growing up, I had one rule. You had to play one sport. I didn't care what it was. Mm-hmm. When you were here in Arizona, you would play one sport. That's it. But you have to play a team sport. They chose hockey.
In Arizona, really?
Yeah.
Yep. Full contact.
Yeah, that's
it was costly.
And you thought Pop Warner was costly.
Oh no.
93,
it cost me $6,000 for the airfare when we were doing travel hockey because they were good enough to play travel teams.
Taj, you will not play hockey.
Yeah. Well, it's bad enough. We ran average expenses to go do what he's about to do.
Oh yeah, it's not cheap.
It's a $5,000 deal.
Yeah.
And the other kicker is, it's hard to put a number on it. While he's doing that, that's going to be a hard $5,000. But for 2 weeks, you're not doing anything, so there's a deficit on the cash flow.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing coming in the door while you're out the door.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, you know the drill.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, I'm excited for you. You're going to represent Arizona very well. Murray, how many kids were in competition for the championship?
For the state championship, we had, I believe there were 9 in the older age group. You had 6 in your age group.
You've got, about 45 kids?
We have about 45 kids. We only sent 3 from each age group to state. We do have the largest club in the state, spanning all 3 age groups, which is 10 and under, 11 to 14, and 15 to 18.
Well, I can tell you, doing what you're doing is an arduous task with these youngsters, but it's an awesome thing. It's taking on a cause certainly bigger than than anybody told you it was going to be.
You know, Don, honestly, I couldn't do it without the help of my wife. She's really kind of kept the reins tight on me, so I'm focused on
kind of a Noreen thing. Huh?
Something, exactly, just like Noreen.
Spur you out of the chute, then you go, whoa, big boy.
Yep. You know, if I say the wrong thing, I get the kick in the shin at the meetings. So.
The look.
Exactly.
Yeah, the look is what does it.
Is it like the lips get real thin, the eyes get real squinty, and one eyebrow goes up?
Yep.
It's the other way around. It's the jaw dropping, the eyes getting real big and going. Oh, yeah, that's. I would rather have that
this way or this way.
That way.
Backwards. Yeah.
It's,
there's a storm.
No. Yep. Exactly.
Stare down.
The stare down.
The stare down.
There we go.
And you know what? I'm usually the one to break. So.
Smart man.
You got old poker face over here going.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know nothing about birth and no babies. So that's good stuff.
She's laughing at you, Murray.
She's always laughing at me.
Yeah, wait till you get in the truck.
Wait. She's not too far out of reach from you now.
No, she's right in the back of your head.
You got to remember, they're bagels right there, and they're weapons.
I bought those as a token of my love and esteem.
Yes, and we want to thank Safeguard Business Systems for the bagels this morning. Hey, we're going to stand down. When we come back, we're going to talk about Pumpkin Center and see if we can wake up James Guggenauer. He should be back from
Canada.
Dunkerby Bay, Yeah, get down right now.
Oh, yeah.
All righty, we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening over at Pumpkin Center. We've got some stuff going on that...
Roundtable, too.
Yeah, we've had such a storm about the gizzard shad, the crappie, the this and the that over at the Mother Lake, Roosevelt. April 19th, the first town hall roundtable in Pumpkin Center at the Tonto Basin Chamber of Commerce building went off.
That's the bar, right?
I didn't go to that one. I missed it.
Oh, that's right. You weren't there.
No, Cantrell and I both missed it. But this time, Chief Cantrell will be heading up the meeting. That's Monday, August the 5th, right around the corner. Pumpkin Center, Tonto Basin Chamber of Commerce building at 6 p.m. And there's going to be some follow-up on the gizzard shad research. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, quite frankly. We all know that the biomass of the gizzard shad is to the point, and the size of the gizzard shad that the largemouth are having a tough time eating them.
They're too big.
And the gizzard shad, conversely, there's so many of them in that biomass are... after they get about 9 inches long, they become filter feeders and start sucking up zooplankton, eggs, and everything else. They've really had a major impact on the crappie population. And I would suspect the larvae of the largemouth bass and smallies are...
You mean the eggs?
Eggs affected as well. So, plan has it. By the way... at the last commission meeting, the license simplification was voted in. It will take effect January 1st.
Hallelujah.
2014.
Just tell everybody not to buy their licenses now in the last quarter. Well, okay, that's a question. If you buy a fishing license in the last quarter, does it end on the 1st? Do they prorate it, or do they start from saying that as of the 1st, if you bought something in November or December, then it goes for the following fiscal year?
I don't understand the answer to that. I'm going to wait till midnight, be at the Walmart January 1st.
First and buy.
Woohoo! Yeah. I'm in favor of a lot of the things. Some of the things were controversial, but I think in the long run, I think this is going to be the catalyst, hopefully, that the department needs to run their business like a business. That was the battle cry. And now they have it, and I think they'll take good care of it. But some of the things that go along with that are the ability to make or break regulations. We've got a whole raft of proposed fishing regulations that Chief Cantrell and his band of biologists have been working on. Curtis Gill is going to be present, has a PowerPoint. Actually, we're going to post that on Monday on our website, so you can see exactly the charts and the graphs of the spike of the crappie fishing, and it's significant downward spikes over the years. So
when was the high point? Do you know? Was it like 7-8 years ago that they had the high point crappie fishing?
I just got a rough glimpse at that. It was classified information. I wasn't supposed to be seeing it, so I didn't look. But I think Chief Cantrell's got some really good ideas. It'll be the first time in Roosevelt's history that we've had crappie limits.
As long as everybody's happy, I'm happy.
You know, I thought they have to, because they're still allowed to take 15 fish.
I mean, that's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish day after day after day. And when you consider over the years that 7 out of 10 crappie that were caught
were gone.
Yeah, released to the grease. And
I like that term.
Yeah, it is. It's just peace, love, and chicken grease. So it's going to have an impact, hopefully, over the next couple of years. Genetic testing, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Cantrell was in touch with Texas Parks and Wildlife. We talked a little bit about that last week, but they're going to do some pro bono.
That's right, on the fins.
Genetic testing. We're going to take 30 fin clips from 10 waterways, send them to Texas, and we'll be able to figure out what we've got, where they live, and make a decision on where we stock. We are going to stock Florida strain, but they're not suited for everywhere.
Meaning that every climate in Arizona has several climates.
We do.
It'll determine where they would survive best.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about the effects of the gizzard shad and how we're going to try to manage these. We're going to do some hydroacoustic testing more.
Still say you need the sane listings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the only thing that's going to take them out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We've got...
no, that's Monday?
That's Monday at
tomorrow.
6 p.m., yeah.
You're going to be up there Monday. I'm going to be up there Wednesday. It's the PNRC meeting up in Payson on Wednesday.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
When's the MSA meeting?
I don't know the MSA schedule, but there'll be a couple guys usually who show up from MSA, so we'll chat.
Okay. But we'll keep you posted. Next week, Chief Cantrell will be in studio with us talking about whatever we've missed, certainly more in depth. Talking to Chief Cantrell, when he gets on a fish subject, like what? Spend a lot of time looking up words.
He gets a little wired on that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean he's absolutely awesome. One of the other things we're going to be discussing, I believe Kelly Jardine, the Tonto Basin District Ranger, is going to be in house.
Oh.
And we're going to find out where they are, they being Tonto National Forest folks, on the rescinding his letter of decision to restrict public access to the Roosevelt Marina. That's a bad thing.
Yeah. So what are they doing about that right now?
Right now, it's my understanding that letter did not take effect. The service is engaged in writing Pence's group, who's the fixed base operator for the marina. They were supposed to put a boating plan into effect. They never did that. So my take on it is, now the service was deficient in their requirements for Pence's to do that. Now the Forest Service is writing that for them, which will include egress. It will allow us to fish the tires, some of the other structures. We're not going to be able to fish the slips.
No.
Or the docks.
But we can fish the races in between, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my understanding, and that'll be clarified hopefully tomorrow night.
For those of the people that, friends of mine, have got cited for being in there for trespassing, what's going to...
Yeah, that's a big question for the Gila County Sheriff's Office.
Dean Cruiser and Steve Cherninsky.
Thank you.
Buddy Randall got cited for the same thing, and Buddy rolled over and pled guilty. And I wished he hadn't done that. I wish he'd have called.
Well, I know Dean and Steve are fighting it.
Well, they are fighting it, and so far, I think everybody but Governor Brewer's involved in that. Tono's involved. Gila counties, in my opinion, are not acting in the best interest of the community. I got to be careful with this.
Yeah, this is the southern, way deep south mentality on the sheriff's office.
I got to be over there Monday, so I'm just going to say somebody needs to talk to them about their role in Maricopa County enforcing the rules. You can't, we've lost FLW came to town.
Right.
That's $1 million in Gila County in their economic footprint, and we've got Bubba cops over there busting out-of-state boaters 2 miles over the speed limit, 47 and a 45. You've got to be kidding me.
And
then Daisy Dukes is running for sheriff. Good Lord. I don't get those guys. We've petitioned Mayor Kennedy to have a talking to. I've sent calls out to Connie Martin, their economic development director. It's got to be killing them. And for them to start arbitrarily busting people inside I've been pulled over for making a wake, and my Mercury was going absolutely as slow. It was at an idle.
At idle speed, you're still
my foot's off the pedal, and here comes Pete and repeat. Giving me a 20-minute bitch because I'm making a wake. I'm going, dude.
Idle speed's 5 miles an hour? I mean, you put my boat in neutral and it's going 5.5.
On a 250 Mercury or Yamaha, 200 and up, you take your foot off the gas and it's at idle.
5 miles an hour.
You can't go any slower.
Right.
Unless you drag Junior over here behind the boat. and then you have an infraction of trolling in the marina.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah, but look at the size of catfish you could catch.
He wouldn't be looking for the catfish.
So I don't know. Hopefully,
looking for him.
I hope the guys will be well behaved and keep it on a civil tone. But I really think Gila County Sheriff's Department needs a talking to on their behavior.
I agree.
I mean, they are public service servants.
Yeah, that's what part of public servants do they not get?
They don't get it. When I traveled back to Alabama, I got a talking to before I left. He said, Don, and Ron Stallings, he said, when you leave the airport, do not speed. Use your turn signal. If for some reason you should be stopped, put both hands on the wheel and keep your mouth shut, period. Because if you don't, they will jack you up. I thought, okay. Sounds like Gila County.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
warned in advance.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, yes sir, and that's the answers they want.
Well, I'm sure the California anglers are really anxious to come spend their money in Gila County. So
I don't think they won't.
No,
not anymore.
They give us a bad rap, and I think the economic development people really need to talk to the sheriff's department about.
I agree.
Who they are and who they actually work for. Anyway, having said that, we got to get off of it. We'll be right back. I am absolutely stunned. All righty, we're back.
That was funny.
Okay. I don't know if that was live or not, but you and me in the parking lot.
I didn't have my ears on.
Oh, man. That was bad. All righty, we're going to get this thing wrapped up. Wishing our Arizona youth champion the best in Louisiana.
Way to go and good luck.
By all means, try the crawdads.
Yep.
They've got some seafood gumbo down there.
Turtle soup?
No.
Turtle soup is good.
Yeah, with cornbread.
No.
You got to have the cornbread.
As long as they have a little sample cup first. I'm not going to order it till I try it.
Oh, don't go there.
Maury, this isn't about you.
No.
I know it isn't. If I've got to eat food, I'm going to eat something I want.
You're the pit crew.
I am.
He's my caddy.
Yeah. Yeah, Bass Caddy Maury.
Wow.
Woo-hoo!
Oh, you have been stumped.
Nice.
Yes, Mr. Y.
Way to go, Fabio.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's good stuff.
No, hey, I seem to remember something. Oh God, it was a couple years ago when you were on a trail.
Don't go there.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm telling you,
they were calling you something too that you actually
CDs?
had. Yes, I
Jihad works both
All right,
ways.
I forgot what I was talking about.
Pow!
Thank you.
Yeah, bang. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being a boat caddy.
No, absolutely not. I'm,
as long as somebody's catching fish.
He's.
the whole deal.
I'm so proud of this kid. I wouldn't have wanted a better son. So,
I believe I've known him since birth.
You have.
Yeah.
He's been involved with a lot of these.
Yeah.
So,
been out there doing it. Murray, how much involvement do you have with the family members of the other kids that are in the Bassmasters Youth Club?
We have a really tight-knit group of family members and parents. We, believe it or not, we do all hang out at the tournaments. After pre-fish on Saturday, we all kind of get together, whether we barbecue or hang out, have a few beers, and let the kids get stuff ready. It's pretty cool. Have some big campouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you staying in hotels or are you camping out?
I'm staying in a hotel at this one.
Attaboy.
There's too many bugs.
Look out for America's Best. It's not.
No, we're actually got the Super 8.
Nice. Super 8. Yeah,
Super 8's reported there.
I can't tell you firsthand back there, they have America's Best has raccoons in the room.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it can't be any worse than
That's nice to know.
the Roosevelt Estates.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I had mouse poop on my pillow.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
Hantavirus,
Yeah.
No.
Not unless you eat it. That's good stuff. Well, we're going to get this thing wrapped up. Listen, you've got. I'll be here tomorrow. If there's anything that I can do for you,
outstanding.
We'll hook you up, do whatever we need to do, and give you a pat on the head and wish you well and send you on your way with your bass caddy.
Yep.
And Mama. Yeah.
Like Mama gets to sit in the background, but she's riding herd on YouTube.
That's the queen of fish right there.
It is.
Yes.
Nice bling on those shoes, by the way.
JK, anything to add about on the wolf issue from the commission meeting?
Basically the same things that we've chatted about in the past, and that is that as conservation groups, we want all of the conservation groups to support state control and direction on wolf management.
We got a couple of minutes.
Fed.
Define, in your terms, a conservationist.
Conservationists are people like, rather than people who file lawsuits and people who try and intimidate and force people not to participate in the use of our natural resources.
Have you ever seen Sierra Club boots on the ground doing habitat projects?
There is one that I saw, and that's the black-footed ferret. They would go out and do some of that, and they were on occasion with some of the wolf release. Oh no. Any of the prey species, they do not participate in any of the conservation efforts that we have. Although, they will tell you that by buying Sandy Barr buys a hunting license each year, which I congratulate her for doing that. But I call that a very, very, very token gesture, other than just buying a license. I wish that more people did, but the environmentalists are trying to keep people from utilizing resources. Conservationists are taking a look at the use of our natural resources and saying use them wisely, and keep replenishing in a manner that makes sense, and to make sure that specific rules to take, quantities, much like the catch and release program for fish, you have an X number available based on habitat, cover, and water. And that's what we're trying to do each year, is to make sure we have that amount of resources available for consumption.
I think Chief Cantrell summed it up, and I think it's a very, very astute comment that conservation is a byproduct of recreation.
It is. He's right.
Without the recreating side of life, we would not have the conservation dollars to put the field, on the ground, or in the water. So
no, if you put a prey species, if you put a predator out there, another top-line predator, like the Mexican gray wolf, and they want 700, and they each take at least one deer per week, you're not going to have anybody hunting because there's not going to be any deer to hunt.
And the downside of that is, you can't have genetic recovery 100% on the U.S. side when 93% of it should be in Mexico to begin with.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, having said that, anything to add on behalf of Safeguard Business Systems?
No, we're having fun these days. My vocation has become my avocation. My avocation has become my vocation, which means I spend more time on deer and hunting now than I do on my work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Murray, anything to add on behalf of yourself and or the Phoenix Junior Bassmasters?
Oh, no, Don, other than just thank you for the opportunity for being on the radio.
You guys are welcome anytime, man.
You bet. And,
Taj is for sure. I love his hair.
Yeah.
Anybody who gives Don a run for the Moulet money, you betcha.
There you go.
Yeah, not a bullet. Yeah. Well, I can say one thing, Taz, you've got a good guy to look up to. Your dad, in case anybody hadn't told you, he's a hell of a competitor, for one thing. He's a good sport, he's a nice guy, and he's a sportsman.
Yep.
So, you've got a good mentor. And your mom's just awesome for putting up with your dad. So,
yeah.
I mean, we're not going to go down that road.
No, we don't want to go down that road. I think you stop me, I'm going to stop you.
Good.
Okay,
Nice. All right. Yeah, moving right along. Next week, Chief Cantrell will be in-house.
Oh, I am so looking forward to
We
hearing
will
from
have
him.
an update on the results of the Gizzard Shad Roundtable 2 meeting at Pumpkin Center in the Tonto Basin Chamber of Commerce building. If you have time, have an interest in what's happening in our waterways, I would recommend you go there. You'll have an opportunity to speak. If you don't know Chief Cantrell or Curtis Gill, our manager out of Region 6 currently, it's a good opportunity to get inside the Chief's head. It's a busy place.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say there's not a whole lot of room up there.
No, man, that guy's all over it.
There should be a do not disturb sign posted all around that line.
I sent some stuff to Robert Montgomery. Hopefully it'll show up in Bass Times about the battle that we're fighting. But we've got so much research that's done on our lakes, and lake management plans are being formulated. And the Gizzard Shad is, I think just a point in case of what happens when something gets into the water via a bucket biologist, the damage that they can do.
Absolutely.
And, we've got 47 different varieties of crawdads, and they're an issue. We've got, the clean, drain, and dry protocols are...
don't move a muscle, Don.
No, you can't, but, John, it goes further than that. We've got some stuff called rock snot, is what they call it. It's listed as such. It's got a biological name, but it's a slime you get on your waders. So the clean, drain, and dry protocols just aren't for boats. They're not just for anglers. They're for everybody and fly fishermen. Utah, Colorado, they've got a whole big public push on clean, drain, and dry your waders.
Your waders?
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, think about it. Your waders have got felt on the bottom. Okay. So
On the inside?
On the outside.
Yeah, on the out.
I use the old cheap rubber bottoms.
You take your waders off, you shake them out, you put them in your waterproof bag, and they stay damp.
Oh.
And they can stay damp for
Breeding
weeks
ground.
and months, and this stuff lives a long time.
Yeah, there's signs up along the Provo River regarding that.
Yeah, absolutely. All righty. Anyway, check out Bill Luke Chrysler Jeep and Dodge. Guess what? The new Cherokee is back, redesigned. The 1500 Dodge or Ram truck is coming out with diesel in it. Yeah.
Go for it, Tosh.
Hey, Don, thanks for having me on the radio, and I'd like to thank my sponsors, Excite Baits, Boing Lures, and XX2 Eyewear.
You're the man.
What he said.
Yeah, what you said. All righty, man. Take your kids fishing, hug your bass boat, and you too can have a champion in the house. Murray, God love you.
Hey, thanks, Don.
Best of luck to you, JK. You're awesome. I'm Don McDowell.
JK.
Todd White.
And Murray White.
Hey, man, we're out here.
Woo!